The book of Zechariah chapter 1. In the 8th month of the 2nd year of Darius, the word of the Lord came to Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, who said, "The Lord is greatly displeased with your fathers. The Lord is greatly displeased with your fathers. Therefore say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye unto me, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. Do not be like your fathers, to whom the prophet of old cried, Thus says the Lord of hosts, Turn now from your iniquities ways and from your wicked works. But they would not listen and did not heed me, says the Lord. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But did not my words and my statutes, which I commanded through my servants, your prophets, take hold of your fathers? And they turned back and said, As the Lord of hosts has determined to do with you, according to our ways and according to our works, so has he done with you. On the 4th and 20th day of the 11th month, which is the month of Shebat, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord to Zechariah the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet, and said, And I saw by night a man riding a red horse. He stood in the midst of the myrrh trees, which were in a bottom, and behind him were red horse with white spots. Then I said, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel who was speaking to me said, I will show you what they are. The man who stood among the myrrh trees answered, These are those whom the Lord has sent to go through the world. They answered the angel of the Lord who stood among the myrrh trees and said, We have gone through the world, and behold, all the world is still and resting. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long will you be cruel to Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, with which you have been displeased these 60 years? The Lord answered the angel and spoke to me with good and comfortable words. So the angel who spoke with me said to me, Cry out and speak. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I am anxious about Jerusalem and Zion with great zeal. And I am very angry against the negligent heathen, because I was angry only a little, and they have added to the affliction. Therefore, thus says the Lord, I will return to Jerusalem with tender mercies. My house shall be built in it, says the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched out over Jerusalem. Shout again and say, Thus says the Lord of hosts, my cities shall yet be destroyed with abundance. The Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and yet heal Jerusalem. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and saw 4 horns. And I said to the angel speaking with me, What are these? And he answered me, These are the horns that scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters. Then I said, What do these come to do? And he answered, These are the horns that have scattered Judah, so that a man could not lift up his head. But these have come to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, whom lift up their horns out of the land of Judah to scatter it. The book of Zechariah chapter 2. I raised my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a tape measure in his hand. Then I said, Where are you going? And he said to me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is its width and what is its length. And behold, the angel who had spoken to me departed, and another angel came to meet him and said to him, Run, speak to this young man and tell him that Jerusalem will be inhabited without walls because of the multitude of men and cattle there. For I said, the Lord will be to her a wall of fire all around, and I will be the glory in her midst. Oh, come out and flee from the land of the north, says the Lord, for I have scattered you in the 4 winds of the earth, says the Lord. Save yourself, O Zion, who dwells with the daughter of Babel. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, After this glory hath he sent me against the nations that have driven you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will lift up my hand upon them, and they shall be a snitch to those who have served them. And you shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me. Rejoice and be glad, daughter of Zion, for I am coming and will dwell among you, says the Lord. In that day many people shall be consecrated to the Lord, and shall be my people. I will dwell in your vicinity, and you shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me to you. The Lord shall inherit Judah, his portion in the Holy Land, and he shall choose Jerusalem again. Let all flesh stand before the Lord, for he has come forth from his holy place. The book of Zechariah chapter 3. He showed me Joashua the priest standing before the angel of the Lord, while Satan stood at his right hand to resist him. The Lord said to Satan, "The Lord rebukes you, O Satan, and the Lord who chose Jerusalem rebukes you. Is not this a mark taken away by fire?" Now Joshua clothed himself in fleecy garment and stood before the angel. He answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, "Take off his fleecy garment." And he said to them, "Behold, I have caused your iniquity to depart from you, and I will clothe you in different garments." Then he said, "Let them put a beautiful diadem on his head." So they put a beautiful diadem on his head and clothed him with garments, while the angel of the Lord stood beside him. The angel of the Lord testified to Joshua, saying, "Thus says the Lord, thus saith the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways and keep my watch, thou shalt also judge my house and keep my courts also, and I will give thee a place among them that stand by. Beware now, O Joshua, the priest, you and your companions who sit before you, for they are monstrous people. But behold, I will bring out the branch, my servant. For behold, the stone which I have set before Joshua, on one stone shall be 10 eyes. Behold, I will cut off the cluster of them, said the Lord of hosts, and I will take away the iniquity of this land in one day. In that day, said the Lord of hosts, ye shall call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree. The book of Zechariah chapter 4. The angel who had spoken to me came again and woke me up like a man who is awakened from sleep, and said to me, "What do you see?" And I answered, I looked and I saw a candlestick all of gold with an ark on the top of it, and its 10 lamps within, and 10 pipes for lamps, which were on the top of it, and 2 olive trees outside it, one on the right side of the bow, and the other on the left side. Then I answered and spoke to the angel who spoke with me, saying, "What are these, my Lord?" The angel who was speaking with me answered and said, "Do you not know what these things are?" And I answered, "No, my Lord." Then he answered and spoke to me, saying, "This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel, saying, Not by an army, nor by force, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? You shall be a plain, and he shall bear its headstone with shouting, crying, Grace, grace, more. The word of the Lord was spoken to me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall complete it, and you shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me to you. For who has despised the day of small things? But they shall think again, and they shall see the thin stone in the hand of Zerubbabel. These are the eyes of the Lord, which go out into all the world. Then I answered and said to him, What are these 2 olive trees on the right and on the left? Then I spoke again and said to him, What are these 2 olive branches that go through the 2 golden rods and empty themselves into the treasury? He answered me and said, Do you not know what these are? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he said, These are the 2 olive branches that stand with the ruler of the whole earth. The book of Zechariah chapter 5. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying book. He said to me, "What do you see?" And I answered, "I see a flying book. Its length is 25 cubits and its width 10 cubits." Then he said to me, "This is the curse that extends over the earth, for whoever steals will be cut off from the side as well as from that side, and whoever swears will be cut off from this side as well as from that side. I will bring him out, says the Lord of hosts, and he shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him who swears falsely by my name. He shall stand in the midst of his house, and consume it with his timber and his stones." Then the angel spoke with me, departed, and said to me, "Lift up your eyes now and see what this is that is the pattern." And I said, "What is this?" And he said, "This is an ephah going outward." And he said again, "This is the sight of all of them in all the earth." And behold, a talent of lead was lifted up, and this is a woman sitting in the midst of Ephah. And he said, "This is wickedness," and he threw her into the middle of Ephah, casting the leading weight upon her mouth. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, two women came out and went with wind on their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a storm, and lifted up afar between the earth and heaven. Then I said to the angel who spoke with me, "Where do these take Alpha?" He said to me, "Build a house in the land of Shehan. It shall be established and placed in its proper place." The book of Zechariah chapter 6. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, between two mountains came forth 4 chariots, and the mountains were mountains of brass. In the first chariot were red horses, and in the second were black horses. In the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot horses of a different color and reddish. Then I answered and said to the angel who spoke with me, "What are these, my Lord?" The angel answered and said to me, "These are the 4 spirits of heaven that depart to be with the Lord of all the earth. Those with the black horse went to the north country, the white ones followed them, and those of different colors went to the south country. The reddish one went out and asked to go and pass through the word, and he said, 'Go and pass through the word.' So they went through the word. Then he cried out over me and spoke to me, saying, 'Behold, these who go to the north country have pacified my spirit in the north country.' And the word of the Lord was spoken to me, saying, 'Take off those of your captivity, that is of Hida, Tobijah, and Jeddah, who have come from Babel, and come the same day, and go to the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Take some silver and gold, and make crowns, and put them on the head of Joshua, the son of Jozadak the priest, and speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, he shall grow up from his place, and shall build the temple of the Lord, and he shall build the temple of the Lord, and bring forth the glory thereof, and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and be a priest upon his throne. And the counsel of peace shall be between them, and crowns shall be given to Herma, and to Tobiah, and to Jediah, and to Hen, the son of Zephaniah, as a memorial in the temple of the Lord. And those who are far off shall come and build in the temple of the Lord. And you shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me to you. And this shall come to pass, if you obey the message of the Lord your God. The book of Zechariah chapter 7. In the 4th year of King Darius, the word of the Lord came to Zechariah on the 4th day of the 9th month in Chisulu, for they had sent Sharazar, Regim Malek, and their men to the house of God to pray before the Lord, and to speak to the priests who were in the house of the Lord of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, Shall I mourn these months and part as I have done all these years? Then the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Speak to all the people of the land and to the priests, and say, When you fasted in the fifth and the seventh month, that is in the 70 years, did you fast for me? Do I approve it? And when you ate and when you drank, did you not eat for yourself and drink for yourselves? Should you not listen to the words which the Lord cried out through the ministry of the former prophets when Jerusalem was inhabited and prosperous and her cities around her, when the south and the plain were inhabited? The word of the Lord was addressed to Zechariah, saying, Thus speaks the Lord of hosts, execute true judgment and use mercy and compassion, each one towards his brother. Do not oppress the widow, nor the father of the family, nor the stranger, nor the poor man, and let none of you imagine wickedness in his heart against his own brother. But they refused to listen. They pulled back their shoulders and plugged their ears so as not to hear. Yea, they made their heart like a stone of cement, not to hear the word and the words which the Lord of hosts sent in his spirit through the ministry of the former prophets. And therefore great wrath was aroused on the part of the Lord of hosts. Therefore it came to pass that as he cried out and they would not listen, so they cried out and I would not listen, says the Lord of hosts. But I scattered them among all the nations, whom they did not know, so the land was desolate after them, that no one passed by and did not return, for they destroyed the pleasant land. The book of Zechariah chapter 8. Then the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I have been anxious for Zion with great wrath, and I have been anxious for her with great anger. Thus says the Lord, I will return to Zion and dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus says the Lord of hosts, in the streets of Jerusalem shall still dwell old men and old women, and every man shall have his staff in his hand for his age, and the street of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in its streets. Thus says the Lord of hosts, even if it were impossible in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, should it therefore be impossible in my eyes, says the Lord of hosts? Thus says the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will deliver my people from the country of the east and from the country of the west. I will lead them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. They shall be my people, and I will be their God, in truth and righteousness. Thus says the Lord of hosts, Let your hands be strong, you who hear in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets, which were in the day when the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid, that the temple might be built. For before these days there was no wages for man nor for beast, nor was there any peace for those who went out or came in by reason of affliction, because I set all men, every man against his neighbor. But now I will not weave the remnant of this people, as before, says the Lord of hosts. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall yield its fruit, the earth shall yield its harvest, the heavens shall give their due, and I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these things. And it shall come to pass that as ye were accursed among the heathen, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I deliver you, and ye shall be a blessing. Fear not, but make your hands strong. For thus says the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to anger, so says the Lord of hosts, and I have not repented. So in these days I have determined to do good to Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Fear not. These are the things you are to do. Tell each one the truth to his neighbor. Execute judgment with truth and righteousness in your gates, and let none of you imagine wickedness in his heart against his neighbor, and love not falsehood, for all these are the things that I hate, says the Lord. The word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, the fasting of the 4th month, the fasting of the 5th, the fasting of the 7th, and the fasting of the 10th shall be for the house of Judah joy and gladness and prosperous feast. Therefore, love truth and peace. Thus says the Lord of hosts. Still, peoples and inhabitants of great cities will come. Those who dwell in one city will go to another, saying, Go and pray before the Lord and see the Lord of hosts. I will go also. Yes, great people and great nations will come to see the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, in those days 10 men shall take hold of all the languages of the nations, and they shall take hold of the skirts of him who is a Hebrew, and they shall say, We will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you. The book of Zechariah chapter 9. The weight of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrach and Damascus shall be its wreath, when the eyes of men and of all the tribes of Israel shall be turned to the Lord. Hamath also shall border it, Tyre and Zidon also, though they be very wise, for Tyre had built herself a strong fortress, and had heaped up silver as the dust, and gold as the mire of the streets. Behold, the Lord will spoil her, and will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be ravaged with fire. Ashkelon shall see it, and be afraid, and Azar also shall be greatly grieved, and Ekron, for her face shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Azar, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. The stranger shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. I will take the blood out of his mouth, and his abomination from under his teeth. But whoever remains shall be for our God, and shall be like a prince in Judah. While Ekron shall be like a Jebusite, and I will turn my house against the army, against those who pass by and those who return, and no oppressor shall come upon them anymore. For now I have seen with my own eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion, and shake for joy, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king comes to you. He is righteous and poor, and rides on a donkey, and a cart with the legs of donkey. I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem. The bow of battle shall be broken, and he shall speak peace to the Gentiles. His dominion shall extend from sea to sea, and from the river to the uttermost part of the land. You too will be healed by the blood of your companion. I have delivered your captives from the pit in which there is no water. Turn to the fortress, prisoners of hope, and I declare today that I will make you twice as much. For Judah have I bent as a bow for me. I have filled the hand of Ephraim, and have lifted up the sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and have made thee like a giant sword. And the Lord shall be seen beyond them, and his stronghold shall come forth like lightning. And the Lord shall sound the trumpet, and shall come forth with the wide wings of the south. And the Lord of hosts shall defend them, and shall smite them, and subdue them with a sling. And they shall drink and make a drunkenness like wine of pit, and shall be filled as the cups and as the horns of the altar. In that day shall the Lord their God deliver them up as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of the crown lifted up upon his land. How great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty! The horn will make the young men happy, and the new wine the maidens. The book of Zechariah chapter 10. Ask the Lord for Rana. In the time of the last Rana, the Lord will make wild clouds and give you rains of rain, and to all the farmers in the country. The idols have spoken vanity. The southerners have seen a lie, and the dreamers have told a vain thing. They comfort themselves in vain. Therefore they have gone away like sheep. They have been troubled because there was no shepherd. My wrath is kindled against the shepherd, and I have visited the goats. But the Lord of hosts will visit his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them like his beautiful horse in the battle. Out of him shall come forth the corner, out of him the jar, out of him the iron arm, and out of him also shall come forth all who require tribute. They shall be like mighty men who strike down their enemies in the mere of the street in battle. They shall fight, for the Lord is with them, and the horsemen on horseback shall be confounded. I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will preserve the house of Joseph, and I will bring back to life, for I will pity them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them out. For I am the Lord their God, and I will hear them. They of Ephraim shall be as gypsy, and their heart shall rejoice as a red wine. Yea, their children shall see it, and they shall rejoice, and their heart shall rejoice in the Lord. I will take care of them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. I will sow them among the nations, and they shall remember me in far countries. They shall live with their children and be converted. I will bring them out again from the land of Egypt and gather them from Assur. I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and no place will be found for them. And he shall enter the sea with affliction, and shall smooth the waves of the sea, and all the depth of the river shall be dried up, and the pride of Assur shall be cast down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they will walk in his name, says the Lord. The book of Zechariah chapter 11. Open your gates, O Lebanon, and fire shall destroy your cedars. Take courage, O fig trees, for the cedar has fallen, for all the greatest have been destroyed. Take courage, O lakes of Bashan, for your forest has been cut down. There is the voice of the cry of the shepherd, for their glory is destroyed. The voice of the roar of the little lions, for the pride of Jordan is destroyed. Thus says the Lord my God, feed the sheep of the slaughter. Those who possess them, they kill them and do not sin. And those who sell them, they say, blessed is the Lord, for I am rich. And the shepherd do not spare them. I will no more spare them that dwell in the land, saith the Lord. But behold, I will deliver men, every man into the hand of his neighbor, and into the hand of his king. They shall smite the land, and I will not take them out of their hand. For I have fed the sheep for slaughter, that is the poor of the flock. And I have taken with me 2 staffs, one I called Beauty, and the other one I called Band, and I have fed the sheep. In 1 month I also took out 3 shepherds, and my mind all allotted them, while their mind abhorred me. Then I said, I will not feed you. That which is died, let it be died, and that which perishes, let it perish. And let the rest eat, every one the flesh of his neighbor. Then I took my staff, Beauty, and broke it, to dissolve my covenant that I have made with all peoples. On that day it was broken, and so the poor of the flock who were waiting for me knew that it was the word of the Lord. I said to them, if you think it good, give me my wages. If not, let it go. So they weighed for my wages 3 pieces of silver. The Lord said to me, throw them to the potter. It is a good price what they weighed for me. I took the 30 pieces of silk and threw them to the potter in the house of the Lord. Then I broke my other staff, that is the band, to dissolve the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. The Lord said to me, take yet the instrument of a foolish shepherd, For behold, I will raise up in the land a shepherd who shall not seek the lost thing, nor see the tender lamb, nor heal the wounded ones, nor feed those that stand, but shall eat the flesh of the fat ones, and tear their clowns to pieces. O idol, that casteth out the flock, the sword shall be on his arm, and on his right eye. His armor shall be clean and dried, and his right eye shall be completely darkened. The book of Zechariah chapter 12. The weight of the word of the Lord upon Israel, saith the Lord, which hath caused the heavens to board, and hath laid the foundations of the earth, and formed the spirit of man in him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of poise for all the surrounding peoples, and it shall also be with Judah in the siege against Jerusalem. In that day I will make Jerusalem a hard stone for all peoples. All who lift it up shall be tormented, even as the peoples of the earth are gathered together against it. In that day, says the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and its rider with folly. I will open my eyes on the house of Judah, and smite every horse of the people with blindness. The princes of Judah will say in their heart, the inhabitant of Jerusalem will be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their God. In that day I will make the princes of Judah as coals of fire in the midst of the wood, and as a brand of fire in the wood. And they shall destroy all the people round about on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her proper place, that is, in Jerusalem. The Lord will also preserve the tent of Judah as before. Therefore the glory of the house of David shall not boast, nor the glory of the inhabitant of Jerusalem against Judah. In that day the Lord will defend the inhabitant of Jerusalem, and those who are weak among them will be like David in that day. And the house of David will be like the house of God, and like the angel of the Lord before them. In that day I will destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, and I will give to the house of David and to the inhabitant of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and compassion, and they will look upon me whom they have lost, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for one's only son, and they will grieve for him as one grieves for one's first son. In that day there shall be great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of the Hadra Rimmon in the valley of Megiddo. The land shall separate every family, the wives, the family of the house of Nathanael and their wives, the family of the house of Levi and their wives, and the family of Shemin and their wives. All the remaining families, every family apart, and their wives apart. The book of Zechariah chapter 13. In that day a fountain shall be opened to the house of David and to the inhabitant of Jerusalem for sin and for violence. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, I will cut off the names of the idols from the land, and they shall remember no more. And I will bring forth the prophets and the unclean spirit out of the land. And when one prophesies, his father and mother, who have begotten him, shall say to him, do not lie, for you speak lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and mother, who have begotten him, shall cast him out when he prophesies. In that day the prophets shall be ashamed of their vision, when they have prophesied, and they shall not wear a rough robe to deceive. But he shall say, I am not a prophet, I am a farmer, for man hath taught me to be a farmer from my youth. And one will say to him, what are these words in your hands, these wounds in your hands? And he will answer, so I was wounded in the house of my friend. Arise, O sword, upon my shepherd, and upon the man that is my companion, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. And I will turn my hand upon the little ones in all the land, says the Lord, 2 parts shall be cut off and die, but the third part shall remain there. And I will bring the third part into the fire, and I will mill it as one mills torpedo, and I will try it as one tries gold. And they shall call upon my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, The Lord is my God. The book of Zechariah chapter 14. Behold, the day of the Lord draws near, and your spear will be destroyed in the midst of you. For I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to give her battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses spied out, and the women defied. And half the city shall go into captivity, and the rest of the people shall not be separated from the city. Then the Lord will depart and fight against those nations as when he fought on the day of battle. In that day his feet shall stand on the Mount of the Olives, which is opposite Jerusalem, on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall lighten in the middle of it, towards the east and towards the west. There shall be a very great valley, and half the mount shall move towards the north, and half the mount towards the south. You shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach as far as Azar. You shall flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with you. In that day there will be no clear light but darkness, and there shall be a day, the Lord knows, without day or night, but towards the hour of sunset there shall be light. In that day the waters of life shall go out from Jerusalem, half to the eastern sea, and half to the far east sea. And they shall be both summer and winter. The Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord, and his name shall be one. All the land shall be made a plain from Geba to Rimmon, towards the south of Jerusalem, and it shall be raised up and inhabited in its place, from the gate of Benjamin unto the place of the first gate, even to the corner gate, and from the place of Hanian unto the presses of the kings. And men shall dwell there, and there shall be no more destruction, but Jerusalem shall be inhabited with safety. This shall be the plague with which the Lord shall smite all the people who have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall be consumed, though they stand, their eyes shall be consumed in their socket, and their tongue shall be consumed in their mouth. But in that day a great torment of the Lord shall be in the midst of them. And every one shall take his neighbor's hand, and his hand shall rise up against his neighbor's hand. Judah also shall fight against Jerusalem, and the arms of all the heathen shall be gathered round about them, with gold and silk, and great abundance of clothing. But this shall be the plague of the horse, and of the mule, and of the camel, and of the plank, and of all the beasts that are in these tents like this plague. But it shall come to pass that all that are left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacle. And whoever will not want to come to Jerusalem from all the families of the earth to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, then upon them there shall be no wrath. And if the family of Egypt will not go and come, there shall not be wrath upon them. This will be the plague with which the Lord will smite all the heathen who do not come to celebrate the feast of the tabernacle. This will be the chastisement of Egypt, and the chastisement of all the nations that do not come to celebrate the feast of tabernacle. In that day it shall be written on the reins of the horses, Holiness unto the Lord, and the vessels in the house of the Lord shall be as the cups before the altar. Yea, all the vessels of Jerusalem and Judah shall be holy to the Lord of hosts, and all who sacrifices shall come and take and eat of them. And in that day there shall be no more Canaanites in the house of the Lord of hosts.